Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of International Gamers. I do that on purpose just to piss Steven off.
He's not joining us this time around, it's just me, Ahmed, and you.
That's right. He's a big loser. Him and his I have kids and, they apparently take time or something. There's always an excuse with him.
Well, I could vouch for that.
Lies, both of you people.
I just put the little one to sleep. It's very satisfying. It's gratifying to have a kid, but at the same time, you feel that your free time has been cut short a bit. But it's a gratifying experience. So giddy up, Jarrod.
Yeah, giddy up. I'll get right on that. So what have you been up to? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time. We haven't talked in a while. It's been mostly Steven doing solo, you doing solo. You guys did one, so that's pretty cool. It's just back and forth, basically. I finished my exams. I passed everything. Yay!
Congrats.
I got some pretty good marks, so I'm happy with all the marks that I've gotten. So I've been ever since then. Went back home for the holidays. Stayed there a bit for a few weeks and then came back here to continue working on the dissertation that we chatted back and forth about for a few podcasts. And that's been it so far. In terms of gaming, I haven't been hands-on ever since I came back. It's just trying to eliminate, the academic procrastination. I have this really stupid thing that I just delay things with the dissertation, and I haven't been playing much, honestly. It's just Breath of the Wild, and we could after I ask how are you doing life-wise, we could go into the gaming segments and what we've been playing. So how are you?
Pretty good. I've been one busy bee at work. It's just been absolutely insane. I won the Dean of Medicine's award. Yeah, I was pretty proud of that. And then I found out that I got nominated again this year for the Principal's Award. So I was like, good Lord, man, what's with all these awards and stuff? And I got a meeting on Monday to discuss the possibility of opening my own department of operational excellence at the Faculty of Medicine to help go into all the different units at medicine to help them out in terms of efficiency, change management, and overall operational excellence. So yeah, that's what's been going on. I've been so busy, it's like ridiculous.
That would be great, actually, if you get that department open. Good luck on that.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I really hope so.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, it would be interesting. I have a meeting with the dean and the executive director. So basically, the dean is responsible for all of the academic side of the Faculty of Medicine, and the executive director is responsible for all of the administrative or management side or non-academic side of the Faculty of Medicine. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there.
So I'm curious, when you recruit people to this department that you want to make, do they have to be part of the Faculty of Medicine, or are they going to be people that you know from your own department? How does that going to work?
Well, honestly, it can be anyone and everyone.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, because I don't want to. Why would I limit? I don't want to limit.
Definitely, that's
the potential.
And if you have people from the Faculty of Medicine, it will definitely help you get around easier.
Oh yeah, for sure. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, you'll know. I'll be texting you to let you know what's going on.
Good luck.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting. But gaming-wise, the only thing for me, after I finished off Zelda and got the golden poop, I
don't know how you did that, man.
Basically, all I've been doing is Dragon Quest, and more Dragon Quest. I picked up the latest Uncharted, and a buddy of mine came over yesterday, but him too, with his kid that he has, who's 8 months old now. Basically, his life is just work and the kid. And so he doesn't even remember, it's been so long that he's not comfortable playing with 2 analog sticks. So it was so funny seeing him play Uncharted. I was laughing because it was he looked like he was drunk.
You just watched him play, or you guys taking turns with Uncharted?
No, it was because yesterday him and I, we go see movies every now and then when they do retro movies. and yesterday they had Terminator 2 back in the cinema for 2 days.
I heard.
Yeah,
that is pretty cool.
It was. So he and I went, and we only had like 35 minutes to kill or something. So I said, "Oh, go ahead, man. Go and play the game, and I'll just watch you and have a good laugh." And that's what I did.
I don't think I'm gonna get around to Uncharted anytime soon. It's I haven't even played 4, you know, so it's just too many things and too much in too little time, you know. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Even though these Uncharted games, you could you know, you play them when you're with your brain off most of the time because they're more actiony, you know. Yeah. What else aside from Dragon Quest? Just that?
That's it. Honestly, that's pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And just playing with this little cat while we do this, I might add, because he's losing his mind. So what about you?
On my end, last thing, again, not much gaming time. Breath of the Wild, I'm just buckling down and finishing up everything. I got 7 shrines left on that.
Ooh,
and
good.
then 1 memory, and then I'm just gonna go in and defeat Ganon. The other thing that I had to play was Sonic Mania. That I had to like get that at launch, downloaded it on the Switch, and man, you've seen the praise already. I can't add anything more than what people are saying, but it feels like even for you, it feels like this long lost Sonic Saturn game. That's what they did. It's just like, what if Sonic 2D continued? And it's just amazing. And even if you see the file size, it's under 300 megabytes. So it's a true testament of they kept everything like retro, but they modernized it to a point that, okay, it's not going to work on Genesis hardware. It's going to be like a more advanced. There's more scrolling going on and more colors and whatnot. So it's an amazing game if you're a Sonic fan yearning for something like 2D. The last thing that was good was Generations. This one trumps everything. It's I still haven't finished it, but it's getting there to the level of Sonic 3 Knuckles. For me, that's my favorite Sonic title. And this one, if it's gonna take that same pace, it's gonna surpass it for sure.
Well, that's awesome. I actually have my collector's edition right beside me, and it's like 7 feet tall there. It's I was shocked, man, when it came in. I was like, what the hell is this? Did you see the collector's edition?
I saw it, but I didn't imagine the scale. The only negative that I found is it doesn't come with a physical, so that's why I didn't get it.
Yeah, I didn't know that, actually. Yeah. I was like, oh. Like, it's just this giant Genesis
with Sonic. Does it light up?
I don't know. I haven't even. It's still in the damn box. I just opened it up and I was like, oh, I'll take the game, right? And I'll put the game in my Switch, and then that way, because I usually bring my Switch or my 3DS with me as of late, and so I was looking for the game, and I'm like, where the hell's the game? And then I see a little voucher. I'm like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah, they copped out on that. But at least you got that big Genesis thing. But definitely give it a whirl, Jarrod. You're going to feel that it's like a Saturn title. It really does. Even when you... the music, like it has that retro feel, but it's absolutely amazing. The remixes and the new music that they put on the game itself, it just feels like something... I don't know, where is this Sonic game? Where'd it come from?
You know what's sad about this, though, is the fact that this was made by fans, right?
For me, that's a triumph. I find to be...
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. But what I mean by sad is that Sega themselves, since Sonic and Knuckles, couldn't replicate this, you know?
Yep.
And that's what I mean by sad. Like, it's just, wow.
Yeah, it's... and when I read the backstory of how this came to be, it's just like... I don't know. I still can't wrap my head around it. I applaud Sega for hiring these people because no other gaming company does that. Like, okay, we're going to bring fans in and we're going to give everything to them and just we're going to supervise from afar. And that's what Sega's essentially job was, just supervising everything. And the fans were doing these fan developers were just making everything from the ground up. I just commend them for doing that. No other gaming company did that.
No, exactly. And I commend them for that too. And if anything, I'm like, well, you may want to keep that up.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, because when you look at the backstory, what's weird about this is they commissioned. He's the guy who the main developer is Christian Whitehead, but he recruited some of his other pals, and also they have their gaming companies. Pagoda West. They were responsible for making the fan-made Sonic 2 HD remake.
Okay.
Yeah, so he recruited a couple of people, and they're the one who pitched this to Sega. Initially, you know, the guy, Christian Whitehead, how he got popular with Sega is he made the mobile ports for Sonic 1, Sonic 2, and Sonic CD, and they were superior to the originals, using his own game engine and his own code from the ground up with like 60 hertz refresh, the frame rate does not drop, and it's widescreen. So he added a couple of additions and stuff like stuff like Knuckles being playable in Sonic 1. You know, these things that Sega could never make. And it's amazing how this story got this guy popular, and that led to the Sonic Mania pitch from their team. What was sad is they initially pitched Sonic 3 and Knuckles to be ported to the mobile and PC and whatnot, and they were going to make it obviously superior, this whole compilation of Sonic 3 and Knuckles. But for some reason, Sega rejected the pitch. I don't know why. That's where I'm trying to dig around. There's stories here and there on why they rejected Sonic 3 and Knuckles, even though they did a really good job with Sonic 1 and 2. Some people are saying it's soundtrack issues because of Michael Jackson. I don't buy that. I'm not quite sure. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's weird.
I don't know. Yeah, that's weird. That is weird. But it's really cool, whatever the case may be, that the game actually got released and it's as good as everyone has been saying.
It's the highest rated Sonic title in over 15 years, something like that.
Oh man. Yeah. Again, like as awesome as this is, it just makes me just shake my head saying like it's so sad that like what the hell, Sega?
Yeah,
you know?
and Forces has a lot to live up to. Forces has a lot to live up to, man. I'm kind of worried about Forces. It looks nice.
It's no way.
It's gonna be compared.
Yeah, and it's gonna get utterly destroyed by this game, I assure you.
Yeah, I really hope that doesn't happen. I really hope like Forces finds its own niche, like it does its own thing. It seems like it's following up Generations, which is pretty good. I like that fact. And they're doing this create a character, and they have an element from Sonic Heroes, the tag system. So they're doing some stuff, and it seems very interesting. But I don't know if people put their nostalgia glasses on, they're going to prefer 2D over 3D. That's where ultimately the discussion is going to go up at. So,
well, you'll be sure to follow it. I know that, and I'm glad that you have been enjoying this game. That was you were the basic like litmus test for me to see if I would actually enjoy this or not. But I'm glad, and that was actually the only game I've bought. Those two games are like the only games that I've bought. And that I plan on buying actually for the foreseeable future, because right now everything is Dragon Quest, but it's going to be really sad in another I don't know, in a few weeks it's all going to be over, and it's going to be so sad because I'm going to be like, all right, where's Dragon Quest 12?
Well, I wonder if they're going to be releasing any downloadable stuff.
I doubt it, because usually with them it's like, they release their game and then they want you to buy the game again. So that's why I'm very curious to see the Switch version, what they're gonna do with that.
Yeah, I wonder how different it's gonna be or how similar it's gonna be. I don't know if they're gonna go like with a enhanced 3DS like experience or a downgraded port of the PS4 version. This is still up in the air.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not entirely sure where they're going to go with this, but I will say this, like playing through the PlayStation 4 version right now, I mean, yeah, it's stunning, and we'll get into it. It's actually one of the topics, but I really think the 3DS version is the superior version.
Wow.
Yeah. And
wow.
The reason why is because you get two completely different games.
Experiences.
Yeah, exactly. And not only that, but all the retro levels and retro quests are exclusive to that version. And I can't tell you. I'm not going to spoil the game because you will eventually play it. But it's significant to the story. Let's put it that way.
Oh, interesting. That's pretty cool. I like that. It's not just a side thing. Yeah.
No, exactly. And it just makes me like go, well, okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see when I finish the game. But the post game, this is the one Dragon Quest game. Well, it's not the one. It's the second Dragon Quest game where you have to do it. Just like Dragon Quest VIII, if you never did the post game, the Dragovian village, if you did not do that, you have to do that. Because you find out, like, you know the way, you remember Dragon Quest VIII? You never finished it though, right?
No, I think I got to the 50-hour mark and I don't know what happened. I can't remember. Something cut me off. But I really want to revisit the 3DS version. I really will do. Like, as soon as I see a price drop, I'm going for that.
Okay, well, if you remember, you've got like your different party members and stuff, and the way the story is broken down is classic JRPG, and not just JRPGs, but just classic RPG sort of staples where, you know, you slowly find out a little bit about, say, Angelo or Jessica or whatever, and you get their motivations as to what's going on, why they're there, and so on and so forth. Well, in Dragon Quest VIII, after the credits roll, you get the exact same thing for the hero. And you learn where he came from, what happened to get him to where he is today. And so many people did not do that.
See that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, oh, man. And Square Enix took that concept and ran wild with it in Dragon Quest XI. It's like... I got to be very careful what I say here because the game is like a year away and I don't want to spoil
everything.
But it's like basically in the storyline you have, you know, point A to point B. The game ends, credits roll, all is well in the universe. Right? And you will have experienced like a phenomenal tale up to that point. And what's so cool, and I'm glad they did it, is that after the credits roll, it says to be continued. And I really, really like that. And I'm hoping that, because after it says that, it says, would you like to save your game? And you say yes. And if you say yes, and you start like immediately playing, you'll see that there's a cutscene that takes place after the previous cutscene that you just saw that ended the game. And the story continues from that point forward to point C, and it's all that from point B to point C that ties into the previous Dragon Quest games.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, it's
like hardcore fans would love this. Yeah, even though I know that they're divided into trilogies. And this one goes with Edric. That's what I understand. Yeah. Right? If I'm not mistaken, Dragon Quest III. That's the biggest influence.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure about the overall encompassing. You know, I don't know where it takes place with. It's quite interesting that there's a timeline of sorts in the Dragon Quest games. I like that.
It's loose. It's really,
very
really loose.
Yeah. It's similar to Zelda, but Zelda's a bit more deep, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, well, with this, it's basically the easiest way I explain it to people is like this. I'm like, okay, you have 1, 2, and 3 all take place in the same area.
Universe.
Yeah, okay, so it's all about this legend of, in North America, Erdrick. It's all about that, okay? 11 ties into that trilogy. Then 4, 5, 6 all deal with the Zenithia, which is basically like this flying castle in the sky type of thing. But that's all how they're connected. Like the story isn't connected. Nothing else is connected. They're just connected via that particular flying castle. Yeah, and then that's it. All the other Dragon Quests are sort of like
their own world. Yeah, 7.
That's it.
Yes, 9 doesn't seem like it's related to anything. Yeah, it seems like it's doing its own thing, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, and the only sort of way that these games are like loosely tied together is, even with 9, is like you can get Erdrick's armor and his shield and his sword.
These Easter eggs.
Yeah, exactly. But that's all they are, really. Is Easter like eggs. Just little Easter eggs. Precisely. It's nothing. I've always been like, well, they're not really connected. So that's what makes this one so much so interesting to me anyway. Is the fact that they did tie it in to the original trilogy, and it makes perfect sense why the original trilogy is now available on the PlayStation 4 and on the 3DS. Like it makes sense, because after you finish it, fully finish it, I'm talking, you're like, oh, I want to go back and play, you know, Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3. And now you have that opportunity to do that. So I was like, oh, that's awesome. And I don't know what's going to happen in North America because they kind of have to do that.
I really hope they do.
They have to. Otherwise, it's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm also curious if these new versions offer anything different to the mobile ports, or are they basically like the same, you know?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I had heard mixed things. I had heard I was reading, I think it was on Nintendo Life or one of those sites, where they were like, oh, it's like an all-new version of the game. And I was like, no, it isn't. And when I checked, I was like, no, this is the mobile version. This is not an all-new version. It's just that it's been consoleized. So they took the mobile version, and instead of, you know, they moved
touch controls, they moved it.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, but I don't know. I haven't played it. I just looked at the PlayStation Network and the Nintendo eShop. I just looked at like the little pictures and stuff, and I was like, no, guys, I don't know what the hell are you talking about. I'm like, this looks exactly like the mobile versions.
So does the 3DS plot follow the PS4 one 1-to-1, or are there differences?
No, that story-wise, it's identical. Like
even the post game.
Oh, well, that I don't know. I haven't gotten to the post game in the PS4 version.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's cool. So I like that. Yeah.
Well, since we're talking about it, let's just deal with it. I mean, this is silly because it was one of the points. So I guess I've talked a lot about the 3DS version. I completely destroyed the 3DS version.
Yeah,
I've done everything.
Nice review. Yeah.
Thank you. I reviewed it. I did all of the quests. I did all of the trials.
Give me 1 second, Jarrod. There's some background noise. Keep talking.
Yeah,
I'll
sure.
be back. Yeah.
No problem. So yeah, I did all the different trials, all the different like everything you can possibly do in the game, with one exception. The only thing I have not done is all of the retro levels, and that's because I have to go around now and get the cute little characters at S rank in order for them to survive. I'm on the 8th or 9th floor now, and it's a 10-floor dungeon. And as you go through, you unlock scrolls, which unlock quests for the old Dragon Quest areas. And it's pretty cool. I mean, I'll admit, it's pretty cool. Because as you go down and you go into those different areas, I thought that you'd be stuck at, say, like, the same area. But that's not necessarily the case. So, for example, you could go and be in, like, one area of Dragon Quest IV, and then you'll unlock another quest, which is now you're no longer in, say, like a forest, you're in some town or something. So I thought that was really cool, the way that there's multiple quests that take place in each one of the 10 different Dragon Quest universes. And I'm kind of disappointed that that is not on the PlayStation 4. And the fact that the PlayStation 4 got an exclusive casino slot machine, like whoop-de-doo. And that's actually what I'm struggling right now with, is the slot machine. Because on the 3DS, you place your max bet, and then you roll the slots, and they do their thing. They come to a stop, and away you go. But with the PS4 version, you place your max bet. That's normal. It's just that, like, you manually stop the little things there from spinning, and I'm like, I never like that. Just do it for me, you know? It builds anticipation where it goes cling, cling, cling. So if I'm just going tap, 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 and I just keep doing it over and over and over again, it doesn't feel, I don't know, it just doesn't feel the same. So I just recorded 2 videos, actually, and I got to the casino and I spent like 800 gold, and it just like, in like 2 spins, it's all gone. And I was like, whoa, you know, like, damn. And I'm actually at a point now where I have to grind out some levels because I'm the hero and I'm fighting with this other guy in an arena, but I don't have any spells that will buff my character, protect my character, or anything like that. And literally I just got destroyed 3 rounds in a row. and like 3 goes or 3 times in a row. And I just was like, okay, that's enough of that. So I spent like 45 minutes before you got on here, just grinding out, getting some gold. And now I think off camera, what I'll do is grind out the rest of the levels I need. And I'm going to try that casino again. I'll save my game before obviously going in there.
Yeah.
And I'll see if I can buy, say, like 1,000 tokens or something and go from there. It just seems really, I don't know. I might skip
repetitive.
I might skip the casino altogether on the PS4 version until roulette, because with roulette I have a trick where I can get some serious gold really, well, not gold but tokens really quick.
You gotta show all that on a video. Like
oh no, yeah, for sure, we'll do, absolutely. Yeah. Roulette is roulette, so that's why I'm saying I'm not going to show that. There's no point. I already showed it. I already showed how roulette works and how it stole all my money. And then I was like, oh, maybe I'm not gonna do this, because the idea is you win a lot of money, you go save, then you go back. If you lose all your money, well, then you reload your game from the previous save and you go on. But I never had to do that on the 3DS ever. I would always lose a little bit of money, and then I would start winning some, and I always won more than I lost. But here it was like, whoa, man, getting totally destroyed. But anyways, that's no big deal. But overall impressions right now with the PS4 version is that it's one of the nicest looking games I've ever played. It's like just gorgeous. It's so import friendly. It's unbelievable in terms of not obviously story or where you have to go or any of that stuff, but just sheer playing. It's so much easier to see where, well, it is actually easier to see where you have to go because they highlight on the map where you have to go. And they also make it so that it's really obvious what quest will award you. It's really clear when you open up treasure chests what you're getting, whereas on the 3DS one, most of everything you do is in text. So yeah. Ooh,
I wanted to ask, do you feel when you were playing the PS4 version after the 3DS one like a deja vu sort of thing with the overworld design and the dungeon design? Was it a bit repetitive to you, or was it felt brand new because of the graphics and the scope of the world?
Okay, so this is something. Have you watched any of the Let's Plays I've done?
I've watched a bit of the first one, like maybe the first 20-25 minutes, the tutorial part, but I didn't like delve into the other ones yet.
Okay. Because you'll see, as if you decide to watch it, which I don't know if I would recommend you watch it, to be really honest, because it's going to spoil the whole bloody game for you. But like I would stop at like part 6. I really wouldn't go beyond that if you want to experience the whole game for yourself.
Okay.
Because at probably around, I don't know yet, I haven't gotten there, but probably around like part 8 to 10 is where the game changing event will happen, and you don't want that spoiled. Like it's a big part of the game.
Okay.
But to answer your question, I think it's probably in the first or second episode that I did where I was just like, wow, like this is sick, because it's not at all the same. So
nice.
It's like but neither is the 2D version. That's the thing.
Yeah, so they have like 3 different versions essentially. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 3 completely different games that just so happen to have the same story.
Wow, that's very nice to hear. Very reassuring, actually.
Yeah, like after this, I'm going to go back and play it in 2D. And it doesn't tire, like it doesn't get old because it's completely different. Like towns are completely different, dungeons are completely different. They have the same mechanics, like the same idea. Like for example, you'll have a dungeon with like falling floors, okay? Well, that'll be the same in all 3, but their layout is completely different. And you know, like treasure chests are all in different places, shiny spots or resources are all in different places, and so on and so forth. Very, very impressive though right now. Very impressed.
I know that my cousin's uncle, the guy who got me into gaming, he'll be very happy to hear this, because I told you about him. When everything moved to 3D, he absolutely hated it because when he was playing, it felt that it was too complicated, and he did feel a bit of like motion sickness with the 3D jump. Okay. He doesn't like these 3D games, but he's a big old school Dragon Quest fan. He used to like play the Dragon Warrior when it was called on the Nintendo. He even got the Game Boy Color ones. That's the one he gave me because he was moving, so I got those, which is really cool. when I tell him that the new one has a 2D mode, he's gonna go crazy. He's like, the new one has a 2D mode. That will let him go back because he hasn't played anything since, I would say, 3.
Wow.
Yeah, because that's how much he hated the 3D like thing with it, with Dragon Quest 7 and all that. He didn't like the 3D movement. So when I tell him that there's a 2D mode, he's in. Definitely.
Well, he will really, really enjoy it, I assure you. If you like Dragon Quest / Dragon Warrior 2D, this is right up your alley. I'll tell you that. It's something else. I just hope it gets released in North America. That's my only fear.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah, I don't know what would happen. I don't know what would complicate things if one company has an exclusivity publishing deal, which I hopefully that's not the case. Like Square Enix would be handling everything. That would be nice to see.
Yeah, I will be very upset about that, especially, like I said, considering I think the 3DS version is the ultimate version of it.
Yeah, the superior version should get released, I would say. And they're not going to eat on each other's sales. I really feel that it's not going to happen because the guys who buy Dragon Quest in North America and outside of Japan, they're hardcore devotees. So most of them are going to go with both versions. Unless... maybe some people don't have the console, they'll go for the handheld and vice versa. But most fans will go for both versions, I would say.
Yeah, precisely. And I mean, I just, oh God, it better get released here. That's all I can say. I'm going to be really annoyed if if it's not. And speaking of that annoying type of feeling, well, the Super NES or the SNES Classic went on sale. Pre-orders went up in North America on the 22nd, I think it was.
3 a.m.
Yeah.
The Big Apple, 3 a.m.
I don't want to talk about it.
It's extremely frustrating, man. Everybody is venting. It's just like, you don't need to say anything more because it's just like, why would they put pre-orders on 3 a.m. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Well, they started at 3 a.m. I think it was like Walmart or one of those sites.
It was Amazon.
Okay, Amazon. And then the others started coming online at 10 a.m. Pacific time, so 1 p.m.
with no warning whatsoever.
That's it. Now, and the ones that did have warning, a la Best Buy Canada, right away, they tweeted out, they're like, oh, by the way, we're going to have our pre-orders up at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Just FYI, this product will not be available in Quebec. And Quebec, if you don't know, is the second largest province of Canada. And between Ontario and Quebec, you pretty much have a massive portion of the global population of Canada. And so missing out one of those two territories is a really big deal. Now, everyone started, playing the Quebec game, saying, oh, this is what Quebec happens all the time, stupid language laws and all of this. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, I wasn't mad about that. I was more mad about saying, okay, this doesn't make any sense. Because laws are that's a whole other debate that we could get into about Quebec. The fact is that the Nintendo Entertainment System was sold in Quebec at the same time as it was in New York City. Nintendo has been dealing with Quebec laws forever. They are well aware of these laws. This is nothing new. Yeah. And so that's why I didn't understand why people were sort of bitching out the province. I'm like, that, yes, if you want to go down that road, you want to have language laws, debates and stuff like that, by all means go ahead, but you're missing the point here. Right now, this has nothing to do with the province. This is all in Nintendo's court. They sell their stuff here.
So what happened?
Exactly.
Why are they doing this?
Precisely. So what the hell happened? It doesn't make any sense. I can go to any store. Well, okay, that's a lie. The Switch is sold out everywhere. But in theory, I can go anywhere in Quebec and pick up a Nintendo Switch and any of their games, any of the, anything. And yet I can't pick up a Super Nintendo Classic Edition thing. I was so pissed off with this. I was like, what is wrong with you, Nintendo? What is going on? Yeah. So then I tell Steven, I'm like, look, I'm going to ship it to your house and I'll pay for you to ship it to me, whatever. It's annoying, but whatever. And then 15 seconds. That's what it took to sell out at Best Buy Canada. 15 seconds.
Wow. That is a world record, I would say.
Yeah, in fact, it's such a world record that it's not real.
Yes. I've been hearing, I don't know if you heard the same thing, that people have been using bots to pre-order their product. And that's what's essentially going on.
That's exactly what's going on, because it's not actually possible for these things to be selling out as fast as they are for human beings to do it. It's just it's not possible, because by the time everyone would refresh and do this and do that, it's not possible. But bots are faster than all of us, right? Like, it's an automatic thing with them. And people like me are just sitting here going, what the F? You know?
And the sad thing about it is when I'm reading about this, it's called the tiding bot. You know, that's what they're calling it.
Yeah.
And it's easily preventable. All you need is CAPTCHA. That's the only thing. So why don't sites do that and just put CAPTCHA on certain products or something? It's not too hard to implement. So
I'll tell you why. Because they don't give a crap. They care about the
money.
sales.
Yeah, exactly. And plus, there are the sites. I hate the sites that are not limiting 1 or 2 per customer. They're like keeping it open, and you know, the scalpers, everybody's like, now everybody's mad about these people who are buying 20 Super Nintendo Classics or whatever or whatnot and scalping it on eBay. It's nothing new. Like, it's frowned upon. I don't want to ban scalping, but at the same time, it is something very frustrating for these sites. I would blame the sites first, not the scalpers, because they're not limiting their product.
No, exactly. And I couldn't get over this. I was like, my God, man, like, Nintendo, did you not learn a single thing from the NES Classic? Like, this is utterly ridiculous.
Jumping through hoops to get a product. It's just, it's weird, man.
It is. It's friggin' ridiculous. So anyways, I have Cranberry to thank too. She's willing to like sleep out at like 3 o'clock in the morning or midnight or something to line up. Then I've got you who's pre-ordered. And if your order goes through, like I said, just like, if you're okay, unless you need, like, I don't know, did they take the money from you?
No. It will. They'll take it as soon as it ships. I would say.
Okay. So if they do that and they ship it, just tell me and I'll pay, and I'll buy both. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. It's fine. I understand that'll be the same games or whatever, but it doesn't matter. It's you know, you guys did me a huge solid, and I will gladly take a European and a North American one. Hell, I'll take a Japanese one. But it's just, this is ridiculous. Like, it's just completely ridiculous to have to go through these sorts of hoops to do this. I'm just, I'm so annoyed.
Yeah. You're not the only one, man. Everybody who's a fan of Nintendo and the Super Nintendo, they're just as annoyed as you. And the other thing that happened, was it yesterday? Yeah, I was texting you. Is all of a sudden Walmart opened a second wave. Out of nowhere. That one fared better than the first wave, but it also, again, in 20 minutes, it was just immediately sold out. And Walmart is one of these people who keep they're not limiting 1 per customer. So that's part of the reason why that they sold out so quick. Like in 15, 20 minutes, it's gone. Luckily for me, I was there the minute that I saw that tweet, and I just it worked for me. So it's the North American version. I'm getting my hands on that, which is pretty cool. Very lucky for me. Yeah. I'm gonna most likely I'm introducing these old school games to my the niece of my wife's sister. So I want the little guy to play these games. He's playing the NES Classic. I got one for him. So so that's what I think I'm gonna give that to him. So.
No, that's nice, man. That's nice.
Yeah. It's nice to see. You know, I saw him play the NES Classic. I gave him Kirby to play. And it's very fun to see a 4-year-old try to, process this old school game. And Mario was hard for him, but Kirby, he was actually doing quite well for a 4-year-old. I wouldn't know how to play Kirby in that age. So he's jumping and flying, and I told him how to copy the ability. So it's nice to see these little. I hope a lot of the people who are exposed to the Super Nintendo Classic and these old school games, they're not part of our generation. I want them to have this fresh look at these old school games.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah. That's I'm really looking forward to this, and that's why I was like, it'd be really cool to do a let's play of some of these classic ones.
I had an idea, by the way, for that regarding that. I don't know. I'll pitch it to you here in the podcast.
Go for it.
I saw this nice podcast that some popular YouTubers are doing. It's called game club or game book club, something of that sort. So basically, these three get together and nominate a game, and they all play it until completion, and then they come back and they talk about the game, and they have footage of their gameplay on the video itself. And like, what do you think of this? It's like a book club but for video games. So I was thinking with the Super Nintendo Classic is released, we could do something like that, like play our marathon, or like play Link to the Past, for example, like live, you know.
Oh, and I would be all
each one
for
has
that.
his own screen, and we'll just like compile the gameplay together. It would be hard to do it all, but we'll try to make something work, at least the audio. That would be nice.
Oh, I would love that, man. That would be absolutely awesome. And I'm probably going to have to pause my damn Shaiken Densetsu Let's Play that I got going on now, only because of time. And I want to really finish off Dragon Quest XI so that I can say, okay, it's done, you know, before I might do that. I might pause that, finish DQ11, and then go and finish that. But what would be really funny is if I'm debating on what to do, because what I might do is by the time all of this works out, no matter what, I will have a SNES Classic Edition. I will get one. I don't care if I have to sell someone's soul, not mine, but someone else's. I am going to find a way to get my hands on that, and I might make it to the exact spot I'm in the Japanese one, and then continue, but it just like I'll do like a fade, and it'll fade to English, you know. I think that'd be really funny.
That is so cool. Yeah, and I would like to experience Mana firsthand, and this is a nice segue to, I would say, one of the announcements. Would you like to say the announcement that they just had yesterday, first of yesterday, regarding Mana?
That's what I was going to do. I was going to.
Yeah,
that's
nice
why
segue.
I'm segue. Exactly. Not bad, eh? So go ahead. You can reveal that news.
So this was shocking. Came out of nowhere. Like they're remaking Secret of Mana. Basically, that's it. For the PS4 and PC and Vita. So Vita's getting some love, and obviously, when these remakes or these games, every time they're announced, you see people on Twitter and social media and whatnot. Where's the Switch version? Where's the Switch version? Like, they released the Japanese compilation of Mana, but they're not giving the remake for Nintendo Switch. It doesn't make any sense. Nonetheless, I'm really surprised and I really like that announcement. It seems that they're using the Adventures of Mana engine, from what I could tell. I don't know.
Yep. Yeah, that's what it looks like.
And they have the local co-op enabled for 3 players, so that's pretty cool. Wish that they do something online, like a drop-in, drop-out, but that's very difficult to implement, I'm sure.
Yeah, for me, this is like a mobile release. They're taking because this was, now if I'm not mistaken, I thought this was already released in Japan on mobile.
Secret of Mana?
Yeah.
The remake? Really?
I thought so, but I'm most likely wrong, because everyone was shocked.
Everybody was shocked. And
exactly.
Plus they're putting in more
shocked.
production values. They're putting in voice acting. So
exactly.
That's something, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that what I'm thinking is that it was discussed and they simply didn't, like that it wasn't released or anything like that. But it looks like that. Like, it looks like it will be a mobile release.
Yeah.
It's coming out on PC, PS4, and like you said, the Vita. And with the Vita, people are like, why the hell would you release it on the Vita? The Vita is like dead. But I think it's got to do again with that mobile type thing. I don't think it's just going to be those 3. I'm pretty sure at least somewhere this is going to be released on mobile platforms as well. But for the no Switch, that's the thing. That's the thing that I was kind of like,
what is going on, man?
Yeah, what is going on? And it's really perplexing. If I'm being honest with you, it's really, really perplexing.
I'm just confused.
Because Seiken Densetsu Collection came out, and that's what I'm playing the Let's Play on.
Plus, Square Enix are huge supporters. Like, they're releasing Lost Sphere.
That's
so
right.
What's going on? Like, and it is a lower budget remake. It's not like this big budget Final Fantasy VII type thing, which is really cool. I'm not like faulting the lower budget. It's actually nice to see these remakes coming in a fast succession. But at the same time, why no Switch version? Like,
yeah, I don't know.
This?
I'm very surprised. If I'm being honest, I was very, very, very surprised by that. And yeah, I don't know. I got nothing. I really got nothing. The fact that they didn't announce the collection coming out for the Switch in North America, which means I doubt it will. I don't know. I'm kind of surprised. And speaking of surprises, here's another surprise. Did you hear about the Xbox One X pre-orders?
Yeah, the Project Scorpio edition. Yeah. that finished quite quick, right?
Yeah, it was the fastest selling, like basically hardware Microsoft has ever released.
I'm surprised. I didn't expect that to happen. Like
Me
we really talking about the Xbox One X. I thought like the price and the fact that it doesn't have any like exclusives per se would be its downfall. But apparently people now want like powerful, they want powerful machines. Like the advertisement and the marketing is quite smart. Unlike what we were thinking initially. So,
but I'm curious to see how this is going to play out over time, because personally I'm not buying this at all. Like I don't care. I barely have time to play with the PS4 and the Switch and stuff like that. So I'm just not. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see the longevity of this. Like, how long is this going to keep up where it's selling very, very well? Maybe forever. I don't know. Like, this could be like the big shift for Microsoft type of thing, but we'll see. I'm not. Yeah. I don't know.
They still really needed to back it up with games, because they did have like a big fiasco with delaying Crackdown 3 recently. That was for me like, what the hell? They have nothing this year. It's just Cuphead, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing else. And Cuphead has a concurrent release with the PC Steam version. Microsoft uses the term exclusive very loosely, I would say. Like, they have this... they're doing like what's similar to what Sony's doing with their crossplay with the Vita and PS4 titles. They're doing it like with Windows and Microsoft and Xbox One. They're trying to put it all under one family. And I'm not sure whether this is harming them more than it's helping them. I can't really tell. But my personal perspective, my bias says it is harming them, because it's still not really exclusive per se.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like console exclusivity and PC, I think more and more this is going to disappear, because buying PCs today that can handle like, PS4 and Xbox One games, it's not like as expensive as people think. You don't need to go and spend $50 million to get a PC that can handle all of this. So I don't know. I really think it's going to be interesting to follow this as the months and years go by and see, because like now we know PS4 Pro is pretty much whatever. There will be a PS5. You can bet your bottom dollar on it.
Yeah.
But now, if you're Sony, where do you transition that? Like, when do you release PS5?
Yeah, will the Xbox One X have a faster turnover with the PlayStation, or will they like wait the actual cycle that we're like the 5-6 year cycle that we're used to? I'm not quite sure.
And that's it. And so then my question is, well, then what happens with Xbox One X? Like, so let's say they release the PlayStation 5, or they talk about it next year and it comes out in 2019, for example. Well, then, Xbox One X is like just like
stuck in limbo.
Yeah, that's it. So then what do? They release like their next Xbox? Like, this is going to get ridiculous.
No, it's going to get to a point where something will crash, and it's not going to, like, if they go that route, if Sony takes that route and release the PS5 early, something's going to give, and like the consumers are going to be very frustrated,
Well, that's my guess too, is that something's going to give. Something like this it's going to buckle under its own weight.
They can't keep doing this. If they're going to release a PS5, it has to be something that's not the PS4, or not like an enhanced version of the previous system in terms of power and graphics. It needs to be something new. They have to have a new OS. They have to have a new concept, etc., etc.
Yeah, precisely. I agree with that. And sort of on this sort of topic of upgrades and all stuff like that, there was some news that was released very recently about it's not really an upgrade and it's not really a downgrade. There's something special that's coming out for Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah, which one? Because there was a lot of like Final Fantasy 15 related announcements. Now it's under the moniker of Universe, Final Fantasy 15 Universe. Like,
and why are they doing that?
Well, Square Enix, they'll have to like capitalize on their franchise. Like 16 is still a long time away, so why not, I would say, in Square Enix's perspective.
So what is your opinion of some of the stuff that was announced?
The Universe. Well, I don't care too much for the Pocket Edition. I didn't care too much about that. It seemed like a nice diversion for people who don't want to get into the epic, like big scope, or like big JRPG scopes. They want something smaller. I didn't care too much about that. I understand what they're going for, but they even released this graph because they have, like, on the low end there's the casual experience, and then they put another graph on this is the high end experience, which is the Final Fantasy 15 Windows Edition, which has 4K graphics, and it's also being released on Steam, I think. So that's pretty cool for people who are waiting for the PC version of Final Fantasy 15, and plus you could use mods and all of that, that stuff. What else did they announce? There was the fishing game they announced before. I didn't care too much about that VR fishing game. Monsters of the Deep.
Me too.
Like, what the hell is this?
The big thing, the big thing for me, it's not big, like nothing like that. It was that Pocket Edition thing to say, I have a feeling that's what's coming to Switch.
Oh no!
Oh yes!
I really hope that's not the case. Because they did. When they announced the Pocket Editions, they did hint at we're doing something for the Switch.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and
it was the same announcement.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh man,
that's going to be the big news. Is that it's going to get that version.
I'm not gonna judge a book by its cover. It might be a good game. Maybe it's well developed. I don't know. But from what I'm seeing by the trailer, it doesn't seem like my kind of, like, if I want to play Final Fantasy, I want to play like something like 15, that type of scope, not something shortened to a Pocket Edition. Even calling it a Pocket Edition seems a bit offensive, yeah. But you never know. Maybe they'll surprise me. Maybe there's a good developer behind them, and it's actually going to be like a competent RPG experience, not necessarily as epic, but it might be something interesting. But I really hope that doesn't hit the Switch. That would be really sad, And imagine calling it the Pocket Edition for the Switch. Like, okay.
No, that's just it. Exactly. Yeah. I'm trying to find what other news was released.
Final Fantasy 15 or something?
Yeah, Final Fantasy 15. What other?
Was there anything else? I'm trying to think of anything in mind. It's the fishing game. There's the Pocket Edition, the Windows Edition. There's the small bit that Square Enix is touting. Like, they're not touting. They're actually telling people that we're not going to restrict any mods, but we really want people to be moral, because they're addressing nude mods for Final Fantasy 15 with the PC version. And they said that we're not going to restrict anybody, but we want people to be moral. It's up to the morality of the community. So they're sort of like throwing the ball to the community. And you're damn well sure that the community is going to do nude mods.
For sure.
Yeah, either way, even if they try to like talk them down regarding morality and such, it's going to happen. I'm trying to think of anything else.
No, I think that's that. I mean, I'm on their website right now. It says there's Kingsglaive, there's Brotherhood, there's Justice Monster 5, there's King's Knight, Monster of the Deep,
they discontinued the Justice Monsters. I think they did. They pulled it off.
Yeah, it says services ended.
Yeah, and their mobile game is absolutely terrible. The one that's released now, I heard like a lot of negative. It's very like cheaply made.
Okay, great, super. Well, no, that was it. That was everything that was on the agenda for today.
Yeah, it's all related to because the Gamescom is going on now, so all these announcements are like floating about. So what I'm surprised about is that regarding the coverage of Gamescom, it's not as widely covered as E3. Like, you see the announcements, but you don't see a lot of like media sites talking about Gamescom as a conference, except some of the like sites like Eurogamer and whatnot, obviously because it's in Europe.
Yeah.
But Nintendo UK has been running a stream, actually, just exactly similar to the Treehouse one for Gamescom, and I caught that from time to time. They showcase a lot of like independent titles on that, and they showed Xenoblade 2 and some new footage that looked really cool. A bit worried about the frame rate there, but it looks very nice. And they showed the new area in Super Mario Odyssey. And aside from that, I don't think there's like any other major. And some Metroid gameplay, obviously, the Metroid Samus Returns. Other than that, I don't think there were any other like major things going on. Just like a repeat of E3, but with some expanded content.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. It's funny that though, eh? The way like some of the more mainstream, press like IGN and stuff like that, they just focus on certain things. Like TGS is a huge deal, E3 is a huge deal, but for that, they're just like, yeah, well, whatever. It's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. I don't know why they're not opting for like bigger coverage of Gamescom, even though it's like a more organized venue than E3 this year.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh well.
I don't know. Anyways, so do you have any other closing comments to make before we wrap this bad boy up?
This was a nice podcast, actually. It's been a while since we last talked. I wish Steven was with us. We haven't done a three-way podcast in a long time. That would be interesting.
Well, maybe next time. Yeah. He's it's the problem with this one was just timing.
Time zones. It's always a difficult thing to
that's
arrange. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I'll let you do the honors of closing us out.
Well, I hope everybody enjoyed the listen in our ramblings. Both of us tend to ramble quite often, quite constantly. Hopefully, we'll be back within the next 2 weeks with more content and more news. Stay tuned to the site as usual, and catch you guys later.